Hello. In this video, we will be covering operators in Python. These are the most commonly used operators in Python. We will be covering arithmetic operators, logical operators, and the comparison operators in Python. Now, with usually these operators, we would primarily be using on integer, float, complex numbers. And at times, strings support the plus operator or the multiplication operator, but I will explain you guys, here. So imagine that we have a variable called x, and that has got a value of 3, and we have a variable called y that has a value of 2. Yeah. Now, with this operation, I can simply do x plus y, and that would return basically 5, which means that addition of these two operators are going to result a value of 5. It's similar to that of calculator, like what we do in calculators, right? All those arithmetic operations sort of comes up here. So if I say x minus y, then you would see 1, which is 3 minus 2. And if I multiply that, it is going to be 6, for example. And if I divide it, then it's going to be like 1.5, as you can see here. And I could also do a float division. So imagine that this division operator is going to return me the quotient of that. So if you multiply 1.5 with 2, then it would result in 3. With this double slash, it is going to be like a float division. So it's going to return only 1 by taking out this particular point for whatever comes after that particular uh, decimal point. So if I execute it, you would only see 1 here. So that's what the difference between a normal division operator and a double slash, which is the float division operator. Now, if you would like to see the remainder, you can use modulus operators, and that is going to give you a remainder of 3 and 2, which is 1. So if you that would be the remainder that would be there without having to go with that 1.5 or something. Now, if you want to do the power, then you can use double star. That's going to be like, it's like 3 square. So that's how it is sort of representing. And it is going to say like 3 to the square of 2 is 9. So 3 cross 3 is 9. It's like that. Now you can also take a square root as well. And that would be something like star 1 by 2. If we do that, then as you can see here, x square root of 3 is what we get here. So if I change, for example, x to uh, say 9, it's going to return me a decimal or float value of 3.0, because square root of 9 is 3. If you want to do the cube root, then it's going to be like this, cube root, and so on. We also have a power function, so that also does the similar operation, like that of, let me replace this with 3 here again. And then if I say x power of x comma y, then you would see 3 square is 9. So that's another way in which you would be able to also execute this uh, operation. So these are the arithmetic operations in most common arithmetic operations in Python. Now, if you come to the mathematical function that are associated with it, okay, yeah, and one more thing I wanted to say is the order of precedence, the way in which it executes. If you have a very long expression as in this way, for example, imagine I have a value. I mean, I have an expression of uh, z is equal to 3 to the power of 2 plus I have um, 3 mod 2 plus I have, let's say, 3 minus plus 3 minus 2 star 6. Now if I do something like this, and if I want to print z, the order of precedence would be in this table as I specified. So first it would be sort of doing it, so it's going to become 9. A remainder is going to be 1, which is going to be 10, and then 10 minus 12 is minus 2, minus 2 plus 3 is 1. So that's what the output that you see, because multiplication has a precedence over the subtraction. It gave precedence, and then it sort of multiplied this 2 and 6. Now, if you want to suppress that precedence, you can do something like this, and it is going to totally change that particular output, because brackets have higher precedence as well. So you can see that Now it becomes like 3 to the power, which is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, which is multiplied by 6 is 6. So 10 plus 6 is 16. So that's what you see as an output here. So this is how the precedence work. Now what we will do is like we will take a look at the most common mathematical functions that would be there. So one is the absolute value. Absolute value is something like how far is a number from zero. So that's what we call as an absolute value. So for example, imagine that I have an absolute, or I want to check the absolute value of 2. It is two steps away from zero. That's why you see 2. Likewise, in case of absolute value in with integers and stuff like that, minus 2 also would be considered as 2, a positive 2. That's what it would is. So if I say 2.3, it's going to be positive 2.3 in case of float. One thing that I also wanted to say is this is something that I was showing you guys in terms of integer, right? We can also do likewise for float as well. So let's say I have 3.5 and then I have y is equal to 2.5. Yeah. Now I want to print, let's say x plus y. I want to print x minus y, and then I want to print x star y. I want to print x slash y, x double slash y. So basically, it's going to be something similar to what you see. This all sort of operation works for the float as well. And 3.5 plus 2.5 is going to be, so basically it sort of does this operation where the negative is 1 and then 8 point multiplication. It would sort of result in that particular fashion. So these are some of the operations that you would see here. Now, let me also do one thing, which is let me say if I can give a bit more additional value. Let's say I want to give something like this, then it sort of totally changes that dynamics as well, as you guys can see here. So that sort of changes its dynamics with the addition of value. Python tries to give an accurate computation as possible. That's why you might be wondering, oh, I gave only this, but it sort of returns this 9999. What does it mean? Because when it comes to computation, Python tries to be as accurate as possible. Likewise, I can also do the same operation on complex numbers as well. So one of the complex numbers, let's say I have something called as 2 comma 3, and then I have y is equal to complex again, and then I say 3 comma minus 1 is what I want to define as a complex number. Now if I print x comma y, you would be able to see 2 plus 3j and 3 minus 1j. Now with that, if I execute the same sort of print statements for this, see, as you can see here, a complex number sort of works only with these things, but for a floated division, it cannot do for a complex number. That's why you see that sort of error. And likewise, it is not going to be mod for a complex number is also something that is not possible. So only these four operations are sort of permitted for a complex number. This is thing when it comes to strings, for example, we already saw a plus b would result in concatenation. And then we can say, for example, if I have something called as Alex and then I want to repeat it 5 times, then that multiplication happens. But if I try to do the same by 5, because obviously it's going to return me a trie, but that is unsupported for this one. So that's about it when it comes to these things. Now we'll go back to the mathematical functions. Likewise, because we already have x and y value defined as a complex number, just to show you guys. So I have, let's say x, which is a complex number. Now, if I use the absolute value against a complex number, it's going to give me the magnitude of that particular complex number. So when it comes to complex number alone, it is going to give me the magnitude when it comes to taking this absolute value of x. Now, if I do the div mod function, which is division and modulus, and then if I say, so basically I have got two numbers and I want to evaluate this statement first to see what would be the, to reassign the value of x and y, or I can just copy this and then come back here and then specify it here above the statement. and then I want to print div mod of this x and y, then it's going to return me a tuple. Tuple is another data type, so we'll cover we would cover that in a separate video, or it might be already covered. But you can check that div mod is something that is going to return the which is the quotient, and also the sort of the modulus, which remain which returns the remainder of it. Just to show you guys, like, what we would be getting is x by y, comma x mod y, if you use this function directly. So with that function, it sort of rounds off. That's why you see it something like this here. Now we can also do yeah, it's sort of like a float division. That's why you see it happening. It's sort of becoming like this here. Okay, now going on to this power function, which I think I already explained you how the power function works. Round off is another function. Like, imagine that I want to round off this x value. As you can see here, I can also specify the number of digits. So if I say round x with only 2 digits, then it's gonna say because it is 5, it's sort of rounded off and then made it like 3.25 here. So that's the use of a round function on this mathematical operation. Now we'll get on to logical operators. Logical operators are pretty much used in statements, control flow statements, which are like if, for loops, or while loops, and so on. So just to tell you guys, like, for example, let's say I have x is equal to true value, and then if I say print not x, sorry, I have to give small x, it says false because x is true. Now if it's like a negative value, so it just gives me the opposite of x if it is positive or negative. So if I give 1, then obviously it's false. If I give 0, which is negative, as I was showing you in the earlier videos, so it is going to return me a value, because if I just simply print, yeah, so I can show it like this. Now with OR operation, let's say if either one is positive, then it is going to return me a positive value. So what I imply by that is, like, let's say if I have x is equal to true and y is equal to false, and if I print x or y, then it's going to return me true because x is true. Now, if I say false, then it's going to return me false because both of them are false. If I say y is equal to true, then because y is true, it's returning me true. So only one condition has to be a positive. Now, this could also be something like 10 greater than 7, for example, or 5 less than 6. It's going to return me a value. Now, AND operation is something would work only, again, if both are positive, then it returns positive. Both are negative, then it returns negative. If one is positive, one is negative, it still returns negative. So in this scenario, just to show you guys, let me print x comma y and then x and y. So you can see that x comma 10 is greater than 7, therefore it's true, and then y is, which is 5, is less than 6, which is again true. Now if I say this to 5 greater than 6, true false returns false, because it's like 1 cross 0 is 0 sort of thing. Now, if both are false, again, it does not matter. Let's say 10 is less than 7, it is going to return me false. So that's about the logical operators, where we use it for comparisons and checking ranges and stuff like that. So that's what we use the logical operators for. Now we have the comparison operator, which is to verify how we would compare it. For example, let's say x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 10. Then if I say print x is equal to y, both are equal, therefore it's going to return true for me here. And then if I say not equal to, which is going to be false because we both are sort of equal. Now again, this is like less than, which is again going to return me false. Again, we use these things in the statements. Greater than, it's not going to be greater than that. So if I give 11, then obviously 11 is greater than 10. That's why you see it's getting written as true. Now, if I say greater than or equal to, then it is going to return me true because 10 is greater than or equal to 10. And if I say less than or equal to also, it is still going to return me true because 10 is less than or equal to 10. So these are the different comparison operators that we have in Python. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel would be amazing, and please do share with your friends and family if you like. Thank you.